I'm in the council square from Brașov. Welcome to you all to the second tour of the city. Here it's a little bit messy because they are ending the summer market, and are a lot of machines of people which are taking care to take all the small shops. I will switch the image to the council square, and the council house that you can see it over there in front of you. As I said, it's pretty crowded. I hope will not rain. Hello, Peter. And in the next 60 minutes to have a clear sky. I'll show you a little bit the surroundings. Hi, Peter. Dublin, nice. Okay. So, as I told you, it's a tour about which have some connections with Vlad the Impaler, because Brașov is a city which lies in Transylvania, in the middle of Romania, and Transylvania, of course, have a lot of connections with the character of Bram Stoker, with Dracula. That's why I discovered. I will reveal for you some stories about Vlad the Impaler, about Dracula, stories which was happened in Brașov, and I hope the signal is good, because I see it pretty orange on my phone. Now it's green again. I hope will be good. So I will start my story telling you that this city where we are now, it's documentary attested in 1235 under the name of Corona, which was a saint from the Middle Orient, and the actual name Brașov, it came from a Passaneg word, which was meaning brass, clear water, and the suffix ov from the end. It was like yes, thank you. And the suffix of from the end was like a caress for clear water. Also, the city had another three names: Kronstadt in German, meaning the city of the crown; Brașov in Hungarian, being adopted the Romanian name of Brașov. And for a very short period of time, in the 50s, the city was called Stalin, because it was a custom into the socialist countries being controlled by the Soviet Union to took the name of the leader of the Soviet Union, Iosif Vissarionovich Stalin. So that's why here Brașov was chosen to be called like this. It was a competition with the other city of Sibiu, close to us. And on that section of the Tâmpa mountain that you can see it right now in front of you, where now are only green trees, they planted a different species of trees, and they wrote actually with trees the name of Stalin on the mountain Tâmpa. And this situation was took part only for about 3 or 4 years till Stalin's death, when they took back the old name of the city, Brașov. And of course, because during of the communist times, the communist jokes, which was banned, of course, in here, were very, very popular. One of the jokes invented by the Romanians, it was saying that the communists choose the name of Brașov to be switched to Stalin, not the name of Sibiu, because in Sibiu, it used to be made, and it's still made, species of sausages called Sibiu sausages. And it was very inappropriate to say sausages of Stalin if they would change the name of Sibiu with Stalin. So that's why the joke says they choose the name of Brașov to being changed in Stalin. As you can see, we have the name of the city up on the mountain, like Hollywood. And up there, on the area where is that cliff and the name of Brașov, it used to be a fortress built by the Teutonic Knights between 1211 and 1225. And that fortress was demolished around 1440 by one of the governors of Transylvania, considering that if the enemy would conquer it, they would have a very good position over the city from here to destroy it. First of all, the city was built near the Spreng Hill, near San Bartolomeo Church, which I presented to you a week ago. And in 1421, after an invasion of the Turks, which destroyed that settlement from around the Spreng Hill, they moved the city on the actual location where you can see it right now. The city was founded by the German colonists, because I will remember to the one which are following me for a long time, and I will tell to the new followers on my lives. Transylvania was conquered after about 100 years of fight by the Hungarian kingdom, and the Romanian population, which was defeated after those 100 years of fight, because it doesn't want to cooperate with with the conqueror. The Hungarians were forced to brought in here German colonists to raise the economy of the province, because they were very good artisans and very good merchandisers. And also they brought in here Hungarians to defend the western side of the Carpathians. Here in Brașov, we have in this council square, which is the living room of the city, like any main square in the European cities, it's actually the living room, like the living room of the home, of the house, of the persons, is the place where all the members of the family or of the city are meeting. And from here are living all the streets in all the directions of the city, and the streets are usually parallel and perpendicular one to the other. So it's very difficult to lose yourself into this city. Of course, during the sieges, the people from all around was coming here, because the city had a lot of walls and bastions and towers to defend itself during the sieges. And here in the middle of the square, it was built first of all into the 16th century, a tower, a watchtower that you can see even today. And around of this watchtower, the guilds were started to build little by little a lot of small houses, which finally at the end give this shape of the council house, where it used to be actually the local council of the city was gathering together in those times. As you can see, we have a coat of arms of the city on this beautiful Baroque entrance into the city, into the former city hall. It's a crown sitting on a cutted tree with roots, I will call it. And are many stories and explanations about this coat of arms. One is saying the fact that the first name of the city was the crown, Corona, and the roots was a symbol of the permanence of the people on this territory. Another story, it talks about local king Solomon, which was running from some thieves which tried to kill him and rob him, and arriving on a place where two cliffs were standing one before the other, and tried to jump with the horse from one cliff to the other. He fell into the ditch and died, and the crown from his head jumped and was getting down on a cutted tree with roots. Also here in the council square, we doesn't have only this beautiful council house, but we have another interesting buildings. One of those, it's that big pink palace that you can see it right across the street. It used to be called the Cel Palace, belonging to the Cel family, a very rich family from Brașov into the 19th century. they had a lot of industries. One of those industries was the brewery from the city. And that brewery, it still exists, it's still functioning, produced the Chukash beer, named Chukash after the name of a mountain, which is around of Brașov. To the left side of this building, as you watch it, a smaller house with blue and white, and the Romanian flag and the European Union flag at the windows. It's the house of Mureșanu family, a very important family into our city. Intellectuals, politicians, writers, which had a very big contribution to the fight of the Romanians for the liberty and freedom under the Hungarian and later Austro-Hungarian domination. One of the members of this family, Mureșanu, which belonged this house with the Romanian flag at the windows, is the one which wrote the letters, yes, of the Romanian anthem, which is called "Wake Up Romanian." It's a revolutionary song, which was called for the first time in 1848 on that revolutionary year from all over Europe. But unfortunately, the rhythm is very slow because the melody it's a funeral song being wrote by a priest from a church from here from Brașov. Even that the actual anthem of Romania, it's a funeral song. It's a very slow song. "Wake Up Romanian" is the title. The former song, the one from the communist era, it was very close to the Marseillaise of France as a rhythm. It was a very nice march. But anyway, we are proud that here in our city was sang for the first time in history this anthem of Romania. Another important house, which is here in the square, you can see it, is that beige house near the Pink Palace. It used to be the headquarters of the Austrian army here in Transylvania, and one of the most important buildings of the square. And also, it was used as a hotel for the visit of the Emperor Franz Joseph, Austrian Emperor Franz Joseph, here in Transylvania into the 18th century. Also, I was mentioned that during of the sieges here into the square, it was existed some big halls for like a warehouse for grains, for cereals, for oil, for water, for a lot of other stuff, which was placed under the pavement of the square to have provisions during of the siege. How was found those holes? Very easy, I would say. They had three big ropes into the city. Each rope was kept by one of the important characters of the community, like the mayor, the councillors. And during of the sieges, they was placed these three ropes into a triangle, into the square, and on each node, on each rope, it was nodes, and under each node was one of those holes with provisions. They were discovered accidentally, by accident, into the 50s when the people tried to repair the pavement of the council square, and one of the heavy trucks, which was bringing things for the reparation, was felt in one of those ditches. In this way, they actually rediscovered it after many centuries. From here, I will go with you to the Black Church, which is the most important monument of the city. It's the largest church, the largest Gothic church between Vienna and Istanbul, and it's called Black Church for obvious reason, that it's black as color. After a fire which was happened in 1689 during of a siege, where the enemy used cannonballs filled with fire, which exploded into the city. The wind was blowing from the right direction. The structure of the houses was made by wood. Also, it was existed about 2 deposits of gunpowder on the way of the fire. You can imagine the rest. The city burned for about 3 days, and From here, the Black Church get the name, the nickname, if you want, of the Black Church. Right in front of you, it's a big house built after this fire from 1689, and it was a house of the merchandise from Brașov. But previously, the house which burned before of this one, it was a house where the archaeologists and researchers discovered the first pharmacy of the city, built somewhere around 1500 into the 16th century, and not only the first pharmacy of the city, but also the first pharmacy from Romania, documentary attested here in Brașov. I'm very close to the Black Church. You can see at the right side the building. It's a church which have about 65 meters high, 89 meters long. 5,000 people could enter inside for the religious services, which unfortunately are not too often because the German community, which belongs to this church, left Romania in mass proportion during of the 90s, being afraid that the communists could come back somehow. So that's why, because the community is not very high, the religious services are extremely rare here to the Black Church. It's an evangelical church, Gothic, belonging to the German community. Of course, here inside of the square, you can see behind the council house, it's the Orthodox Church belonging to the Romanian community and Romanic style as construction. And a little bit further, like 500 meters from here, on the main street, it's another church, Baroque style, belonging to the Hungarian community and Roman Catholic. As you can see, into a distance of not even half of kilometer, 500 meters, we have three churches belonging to three different communities, to three different architectural styles, and to three different religions. Reason which makes me to consider Transylvania like a miniatural Europe, just because of this, because three of the most important language families of Europe are here: the Latins, Romanians, the Germans, and the Finno-Ugrics, the Hungarians. As well, three of the most important architectural styles of Europe are here: Romanic, Gothic, and Baroque. And three of the most important religions of Europe are here: Greek Orthodox, Romanians, Roman Catholics, and Protestants, Hungarians, and Germans. I'm sorry for this. Also, I want to tell you about the Gothic Church, the Black Church. The fact that exists a legend connected with this statue from the buttresses, representing a child bent over the roof. The child used to be an apprentice of one of the artisans, which was working to the construction of the church. And because the child was very gifted in his work, more gifted than his master, the master, being jealous, pushed the kid from the roof. The kid fell and died, obviously, and the master was executed, being hanging up into the council square. And in the memory of the child, the people from Brașov raised on the buttress of the church that beautiful statue. Speaking about statues, we have many other statues here on the buttresses of the Black Church. Are the statues of the saints, of Jesus Christ, of Virgin Mary, each one with a very specific reason and symbol being placed up here. And I will start with the one of Virgin Mary, which is right here. Is Virgin Mary with baby Jesus. At the feet of the Virgin Mary, you can see a crown carved into the stone, which was the first coat of arms of the city. And Virgin Mary, it's looking right to the center of the city, because she was the protector of not only of the church, but also the protector of the city of Brașov. Near her, we have another statues, which are placed on the exterior side of the choir, as it is called, of the shrine. We have the statue of Saint Peter, missing the key from his right hand, Jesus Christ, and Saint Paul. They are right here in this position because usually Saint Peter and Saint Paul are carved, are represented very close to the altars because they are guarding the altars somehow. And now I want to tell you a little bit how appeared these Gothic churches in here in Transylvania and generally speaking in the world, in Europe. You know that at the beginning of the Christianity, the first institution, which was called Basilica, it was an institution from the Roman Empire, and this Basilica, it was a very big building where the Romans were coming in front of their judge and or of their emperor to solve their problems. Later, after 330, after Emperor Constantine of the Byzantine Empire made the Christianity the official religion of the empire, the people were starting to come in these basilicas in front of the new judge and emperor, our Lord Jesus Christ. Because of this, in Romanian language, because we are a Latin country, the name of church in Romanian is biserică and came from this Roman word basilica. The first buildings, the first churches after those basilicas were built into the Romanic style of architecture, and they try to be a recreation of heaven. That's why inside of the churches are many flowers, many angels, many saints, many figures which are related with the heaven usually. So with all this, something was missing from those Romanic churches. The light. No, the light of God was missing because if you remember, the windows of the Romanic churches are pretty narrow, so the light doesn't enter into a large quantity inside of the church. So that's why the people were starting to think how to build a church with big openings into the walls to create bigger windows, larger windows. They consider that those larger openings into the walls would create the fragility of the resistance of the walls. So that's why a very smart architect from France, of course, discovered the Gothic vault, which actually are two arches crossed into a cross shape, which download the entire heaviness of the roof of the construction on the walls. And because the pushings was not only from up to down, but on the lateral sides, the people starting to build those buttresses to keep standing the walls of the church. So they solved this problem. They built a very big church, a very big cathedral, let's say. They built these big openings for the windows, as you can see here on the black church, and they realized that they doesn't have the technique to build such big windows. That's why they were forced to invent the stained glass windows, which are small pieces of glass, as you know, put it together to create a window with drawings and images on it. So after they create this, after they finished everything, came the critics to criticize, of course. That's why our critics on the world. And the critics said, by the voice of Vespasian, one of the emperors of the Roman Empire, that this new construction, that new Gothic construction, it's ugly. It's so ugly that only some barbarians like the Goths could build something ugly like this one. And from the Goths, the Gothic style. This is the explanation of the name Gothic for the churches and for the other constructions. And here in Transylvania, the Gothic churches starting to be built because of the influence of the Cistercian monks, which were an order of monks from coming from France, here being invited here in Transylvania by the Hungarian king, and they built a first Gothic church, a Gothic monastery to Cârța, where I missed to go yesterday because they had a private event arranged for the church, a wedding. So they built that first church there, and from that first monastery built into the Gothic Cistercian style, all the other constructions from Transylvania were inspired from that one. As you can see, the Cistercian Gothic, it's a very simple one because the life of the Cistercians was a very simple life. They were following the next motto, ora et labora, which it means pray and work. Here I show you the statues from this southern side of the choir. Here on the both sides of the main entrance for the priest, you can see to the left side the image of Saint John the Baptist, and on the right side the image of Archangel Michael, the ones which are guarding the priest entrance. The next one is Saint Jacobus. It's the protector of the pilgrims. Near him, it's a pilgrim. And here it's Saint Catherine, a saint from the Middle Orient, which was executed by her enemies with a cartwheel, and at the end they killed her, beheaded her with a sword. This one, it's Thomas Sander, is the priest which had the idea to build such a big church here in Brașov. The construction started in 1383 and was ended in 1477, and was built for the purpose of offering here at what this Thomas Sander considered to be the frontier of the Catholic world, because Transylvania, even that the Romanians as a majority of population were Orthodox, it was controlled by the Hungarian kingdom, a Catholic kingdom. So he said, here at the end of the Catholic world, let's place a church to offer a less place to pray to the travelers and to impress the visitors. Of course, in 1535, after the reform of Martin Luther, the things was changed a little bit because the Germans and the Hungarians switched their religion from Catholic to Protestant, with the contribution of Johannes Honterius, one of the humanists from here, from Brașov. And those trees that you can see in here, acacia trees, were planted in around 1912. These ones from here in the memory of Philip Melanchthon, one of the friends of Martin Luther. The one from center dedicated to Martin Luther himself. And the last one, which is fresh, new, planted, because the original one was dried and died and was removed, was dedicated to Johannes Honterius, which is the man from the statue that you can see in front of us. This Johannes Honterius was the one which founded here the first printing house in Brașov, and also the first German school. That's why he's pointed with the right hand in front of him, where it used to be his school developed. And also, of course, it was a small chapel of Saint Catherine, the one which I show you into that statue from the battles of the Black Church. Johannes Honterius, as you can see, is dressed into the typical clothes for the humanist thinkers of the second half of the 15th century and the first half of the 16th century, and he's pointed with his right finger on that direction. I will show you the buildings from now. And in his left hand, it's an open book. On one of the pages, it's written the Book of the Reform. On the other pages is written the School Regulation, which are his two fundamental books written by him during his lifetime. And of course, he showed to us this building, where now exists the high school, Johannes Honterius. It's a Baroque building, as you can see. It's a high school where the classes are only in German. And given that the German community was diminished, unfortunately, into the last years, the Romanians are the ones which are attending here for classes, even starting with the gymnasium and going to the end of the high school, which it means about 12 years of study. So They learn here about the German culture, about the German society, and of course, they learn very well the German language. And from here, it starts a little bit our story about Dracula's romance in here in Brașov. As you know, Dracula corresponds to a historical character from the history of the Romanians. It was a ruler of Wallachia, the south of Romania from now into the south of the Carpathians. Wallachia meaning the country of a nation speaking the Latin language. It's a word took from the Slavs, took by the Slavs from the Germans. It was a very old German word called Wallen, used by the Germans to name the Latin speakers around of their border. And the Slavs transformed it from Wallen to Vlachen, Valachen, and when they met us, they called us Valachans, and in our country Wallachia. It's the name which was given to the Romanians during of the medieval ages by all the foreigners, even that we used to call ourselves Romanians and our country Romanian country. So this Vlad the Impaler, Dracula, was the son of his father, as I used to say. Is not a nonsense, because his father was member of the Dragon's Order, which was an order of knights fighting against the Ottoman Empire, having as a coat of arms a dragon, obviously, with a cross on his back, and because he displayed this dragon all over his flags, shields, armors, everywhere. The people from Romania call him the devil, Dracul. It means the devil, because in our mythology, in our stories, the image of the dragon is the image of the devil. So that's why his name was Vlad Dracul, or Vlad the Devil. And of course, his son was called Dracula or Draculea, meaning the son of the devil. And this Dracula gained his fame as a very cruel ruler because of the German merchandisers from here, from Brașov, which wrote a lot of stories about his cruelty, just because he attacked Brașov and Sibiu a couple of times, killing and impaling a lot of people, just because they doesn't want to respect the commercial treaty signed by him with them. So that's why he punished them in this way. But till to arrive in this position, Vlad the Impaler, before to become the ruler of Wallachia, he worked for a long period here in Brașov to the defense of the weavers' bastion, which is one of the most important bastions of the city. And today it's one of the last bastions, bulwarks, which remain standing into the city. On the back of the street, you can see the Skate Gate. The Skate Gate. I will tell you about it when I will arrive there at the end of the tour. Till that moment, I will try to go with you on one of the narrowest streets in this part of Europe, and obviously in Romania. It's called the Rope Street. It used to be like a frontier between the neighborhoods of the city, neighborhoods of the guilds from Brașov, paying different taxes to the city hall. That's why they had like frontiers. This is the street. And when the people are starting to build the houses, which as you can see are built one near the other because of the lack of space into the city, they covered these frontiers with buildings. So this is the only one which remained till today. I will cross the street, and I will enter on this rope street from Brașov just to see it, and I will continue the story about Vlad the Impaler. So he was working for the defense of the Weaver's Bastion. As you can see, graffiti it's everywhere in Europe, even here. Even that the authorities repaint the street 3-4 times in the last years. It's it's useless. the people are coming everywhere and every time and rotting here. As you can see here on my right side on the wall, it was designed a white place just only for the graffiti, but the people doesn't understand to respect it, so they cover the whole walls. Anyway, the idea is that Vlad the Impaler was working here to defend the bastion, the Weaver's Bastion, and into a winter, I will show you the bastion very soon. And in one of the winters, he saw a blonde lady with beautiful and long tails pulling a sledge with wood after her on the hill where was displayed this Weaver's Bastion in Brașov. He was going very fast to help the lady, to help the young lady to pull the sledge to the top of the small hill where the bastion it still is, and she fell in love with her very, very, very fast. The daughter was called Katharina and was the daughter of the chief of the Weavers Guild from here, from Brașov, and it was, as I said, it was love at first sight between them, and it was a relationship which stayed for about 20 years and resulted about 5 children from this one. This lady, it's the lady of the Rope Street. It's a statue which symbolizes the Rope Street. Now we are on another street from the old city. The same old German houses, as you can see it everywhere. And Vlad the Impaler continued to have a relation with this lady, and of course the father of Katharina wasn't very happy with this relationship, and because he had plans with her to marry her with another German boys from here, from Brașov, and because they treat her pretty badly, when Vlad invaded and tried to conquer Brașov in 1460, he impaled a lot of merchandisers, a lot of German merchandisers from here, and Katharina was beaten by the ladies and by the people from Brașov because they knew about her relationship with Vlad the Impaler, and was displayed on a pillar of infamy, as it used to be called, in the council square. And then Vlad said, negotiated actually her liberation in exchange of the lives of other merchandisers from Brașov, which was captured by him. He was married twice, with a Polish princess and with an aunt of King Matthias of Hungary, and he was married with them, but his only love was this Catherine. Fortunately, we still have in Brașov the house where she was lived. As far as I know, today in her house it's a small hotel organized in there. So I will present it to you very, very soon. So one of the wives of Vlad, that Polish princess, was jumped into the Argeș River from Poignant Fortress. I hope to arrive there one day to climb those 1446 steps through the forest till the fortress of Vlad the Impaler, but probably next spring, because today the weather will be not very good to climb up there. Plus, I have to wait the bears to enter into their nests, because into their caves, because are some bears patrolling the area, and it's very difficult to to go up there. I will go to show you the house where Katharina lives, and then I will go back to the Weaver Bastion to show it to you. Okay. If you have questions till this moment, I will ask you to ask. If you have some questions to ask me till this moment, I will be in 2-3 minutes near the house of Vlad the Impaler, of his love. We had luck because it doesn't came the rain over us today. It came a car. I will let it go. Okay. So Vlad was, as I said, one of his wife jumped into the river Argeș. First of all, the main reason it says that to not be captured by the Turks, which invading Wallachia in that year, but also couldn't stand it with this affair of Vlad the Impaler with Katharina. So I arrived to the house of Katharina, which I wanted to show you. Is this blue house across the street. You can see her image above the main entrance. It's called Villa Katharina, and is the house where used to live the only love of Vlad the Impaler, Dracula. And here in Brașov. And from here, I will turn back to the Weaver's Bastion to show it to you and to tell you about Vlad the Impaler. So, in the moment when the Turks invaded Wallachia in 1462, it was the second attempt of them to get rid of Vlad the Impaler, which was a very strong enemy of them. And the Sultan Mohammed II decided to kill him. So first of all, with about 2 years before, in 1460, he sent a small army of 2,000 people to capture Vlad, but Vlad captured them and impaled them all. So 2 years after, when the Sultan was coming in Wallachia, invading the country and trying to kill Vlad the Impaler, he was forced to cross a real forest of impaled Turks, and instead to be terrified, he was very impressed by this performance of Vlad the Impaler, and said that he will respect very much a man who is capable to do such a things. That because the cruelty was something normal in those times, of the medieval times, and because of the fact that Vlad the Impaler took this kind of punishment, impaling people, from the Turks. And not only the Turks was the inventors, but also Carol the Great in France around 1200 using to do it. So it's not a trademark of Dracula. It's something that he took from others. This is a fragment of the old exterior wall of the fortress of Brașov. As you can see, it a thickness of about 2 meters high, like 7-8 meters high, just to keep the enemy out. From these walls doesn't remain too much today, because many of it were destroyed during of the time. The city was starting to develop a lot, so they have to make way for the new constructions. And one of the gates of the city were destroyed just because the tram car doesn't fit under it, so they were forced to demolish it. As you can see, this is one of the walls which survived. We have another two lines of walls which survived on the city. One is at the foot of the mountain Tâmpa, that you can see it right in front of you, and one is behind me on the northern side of the city, where also exist the lines of walls. The part from the eastern and the western side were destroyed completely, as I said, because the city is starting to spread in those directions, and not only the fact that the tram car has to communicate and to connect the new corners of the city, but as I said, new constructions starting to appear. Here I'm very close to the place where was developed the Weaver's Bastion, where Vlad the Impaler used to work and to defend. And I'm very sure on the area where he was met Katharina, because this is the way coming from the house of Katharina, which I show it to you, climbing on this small hill to the top, where you will see very soon the Weaver's Bastion. So actually this is the alley, if I can call it like this, where Vlad the Impaler Dracula met his beloved Katharina. And of course that building on the back, it's the sport high school, founded by the Germans around 1890. And now let's go to show you the Weaver's Bastion. Here, this mountain, this Tâmpa mountain, it's we call it mountain, but geographically are missing about 50 meters to be a real mountain. It's only a higher hill, but on it exists the highest, the largest reserve of butterflies from Romania. Are a couple of are about 50 or 60 species of butterflies which exist on this mountain. And now you can see at the back the walls of the Weaver's Bastion. I try to go up on the hill to see it much better. So this is a part of it. I will take it closer. So this is the Weaver's Bastion, built into the 15th century, the one which was defended by Vlad the Impaler. And near it, here to the left, it's a building from 1901, the Ice Skating Society of the Germans from Brașov, which were developed an ice skating field right here. Now, instead of this ice skating field, during of the summertime we have tennis courts, and during of the winter, of course, we have again ice skating. So the bastion from another position. Okay, this is the stadium of the museum of the sports high school, and also you can see from another position, from another perspective, the Black Church. And not only the Black Church, but I can put it for you to take some good pictures from here too. That white building that you can see in front of us near the Black Church is the synagogue, because also we have an important Jewish community here. And that's the White Tower, part of the exterior belt of fortifications of the city. And the other one is the so-called the Black Tower. It's not black anymore. Was renovated 10 years ago, and but remained the name of the Black Tower. There were towers built on the northern side of the city just to keep the enemy away from the walls. Okay, and from here, we had another fortification which also defend the city from the exterior of the walls. You can see it on the hill. It's a fortress built on a hill on the exterior part of the city. Maybe I will go once up there just to see it. It's not open yet. It used to be a restaurant inside, but now it's judging in court between the city hall and the private company who have the right to own it. I hope they will reopen it soon, because it's a very beautiful place of Brașov. And now I will go descending to the Shkei Gate. Shkei Gate, it was called like this after the name of the Romanian neighborhood of the city, which was displayed on the exterior side of the walls, along of the street, to the mountains and to the hills around. And this from the reason that the Romanians doesn't have the right to live into the German cities, because after the rebellion of the Romanians from 1383, if I'm not wrong, at Bobâlna, for the rights, for trying to sending out from their land the conqueror, the Hungarians, they were defeated and they lost all the social, political, and military rights from their own country, and they became tolerated as a nation because they were the majority of population, and the Hungarian kingdom just can't kill them all. So that's why he decreed that the single nations from Transylvania, which are recognized by him, are the Hungarians, the Sekis, and the Germans. So that's why, for this reason, the Romanians doesn't have the right to live inside of the city. I will do a short break because I want you to give you another better position to take pictures of the Weaver's Bastion and of the house of the Ice Skating Society of the Germans. It's a very good position from here. Okay, and of course, during of the medieval times, Brașov it used to be a very important commercial city, because it was placed on a crossroads of commercial roads, and the main commercial road thank you, Anne. The main commercial road from Istanbul going to Vienna was passing by here, and from here was spread into two branches, let's call it. One going north to Sighișoara, the city where the birthplace of Dracula actually, and another one going west to Sibiu, city also where I went a week ago, presenting the Let's Baroque tour, and was reuniting to Sibiu, and from there was continued to go to Vienna. So a very important city, Brașov, and also continued to be an important city for the economy of Romania after the big union from 1918, because here in 1939 we had a aircraft company, a factory, where we built one of the most fastest plane in the world in that moment. We produced a fighter called IAR-80, which was the fourth in the world speed after the American, British, and German planes. Of course, we continue today this tradition of flight here in Brașov. We're still producing helicopters in cooperation with Airbus, and also we're producing planes in Bucharest on a big factory. And this is pretty much normal if I'm thinking to the fact that we gave one of the first pilots in the world in 1905, if I'm not wrong. Traian Vuia, a Romanian, was the first man which flew a plane which actually take off with his own engine. Was this Romanian Traian Vuia, and a couple of years later, Henri Coandă, another Romanian engineer, is the one which invented the jet engine. The jet engine which equipped today all the planes in the world, all the modern planes. It's a Romanian invention of Traian Voia. Hello, Sandy. So, and welcome. And because I'm speaking about Romanian inventics, I will tell you that one of the first researches in this domain was also the insulin. The basics was another Romanian invention, and the fountain pen of Petrache Poenaru was also something invented by a Romanian. So we have pretty many contributions to the world inventics. Here arrived at the exterior part of the walls. This is the Schkei Gate, the one we designed for the Romanians to enter into the German city, a gate which was demolished into the 19th century, into the second half, because of an earthquake. The foundation was weakened, so they destroyed it and built a new one, as you can see it right now, designed for the visits of the Austrian Emperor Franz Joseph, and is very close to another gate from the medieval time. This one remains standing. It's the St. Katharina's Gate. But till there, I want to show you the first Romanian high school from Transylvania. It's called Andrei Șaguna, after the name of one of the Orthodox bishops of Transylvania. Thank you, Randa. I'm glad that you enjoyed. And this high school, Andrei Șaguna, is now a national college in Brașov, and it's the best high school that we have it in this part of Transylvania. It's the first high school of the Romanians, built into the second half of the 19th century. And now I will enter in this park, which belongs to the faculty of I don't know how to call it. It prepares specialists in future rangers and workers into the wood industry, into the timber industry. That's why there are many species of trees and bushes for the students to study. That big building in front of you, it used to be built around 1880, and it used to be a girls' school of the Germans. Now it belongs to the Transylvania University from Brașov, and this is the original gate of St. Catherine. As you can see, around of the main tower, it have about 4 small turrets. Yes, College of Forest, I can call it, not agriculture. Forest mostly. The one which are working into the timber industry. And this beautiful gate, I will go a little bit backwards to give you a complete picture of it. Have 4 small turrets, because those 4 small turrets was the symbol of the fact that this city had the right to apply the death penalty against the criminals. As you can know, the death penalty was the exclusive right to apply of the king or of the emperor, and for some services, economical services, which was done for him by the communities, by the nobles, he can give this right to applying the death penalty to some communities or some nobles. And everywhere into the German world, which it means Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Czech Republic, Poland, Slovakia, Transylvania, Hungary, places where the German community was existed and living during the centuries. Everywhere where you can see around of the main tower of a church, of a city hall, of something like this, into one of those cities, 4 small turrets, thank you, Diane, around of the main tower, you will know that in that city are more than 80% possibility to have the right to pronounce the death penalty against the criminals. Here it's another perspective of the Black Church, and I will show you again the coat of arms of the city, the crown sitting on the roots, which I presented to you in the downtown of the city previously. One of the explanations, I've told you about the legend of King Solomon, about the fact that the first name of the city was Corona, and as well, it's another explanation of a confusion made by Johannes Fontelius, that German humanist, which considered that the name of the county, it's the county of the roots, Würterland in German, instead of Bürterland, the county of river Bursa. So that's why he drew the roots under the crown, just to reveal this name of the county of the roots, that he considered it was the original name of the city. So this was pretty much the history of Brașov, and the story about Vlad the Impaler and his romance with Katharina here in Brașov. I hope you like it. I hope you learn something new about my city, about Romania, about Transylvania, about our history. And my next tour will be on September 11th. I hope to not rain, because we'll be also outside into a beautiful area very close to Dracula's castle here in Transylvania. Thank you, Rhonda. I'm glad that you like it. Here in Transylvania, we have connected with Dracula in many, many ways. He's very, very present pretty much everywhere. So will be a tour in nature to see the colors of the fall, of the autumn, near Dracula's castle, and it's a very special tour even for me. I will dare to recite in front of you some Romanian poetries, famous Romanian poetries of the Romanian poets from the last 100 years. I hope you like it, and I hope to have a very nice and chill tour into the nature. So I wait you. I'm glad, Gloria, that you like the tour. I'm waiting for you on September 11th, which is not a very happy day in the United States and for the entire globe, thinking about what happened many years ago back there. Even that it's my mother's birthday, but anyway, I hope to be for all of us a very good tour. So I'm waiting for you on September 11th at Moieciu de Sus for poetry and colors of the fall here in Transylvania. As usual, I wish you a good evening, a good day, and a good night. God bless you all, and I will meet you in a week. Bye bye, and thank you for watching me. Yes, I will do a selfie if you want. I'm here into the park without glasses, and I'm waiting for you in. You're welcome, Gloria. I'm waiting for you in a week up there at Moieciu de Sus. Bye bye, and thank you for following me.